You know that quiet moment when you look in the mirror and suddenly notice more scalp than before, and you freeze for a second because deep inside, a disturbing thought appears. Is it over? Most people believe once hair disappears. It is gone forever, finished, dead, beyond repair. But here is the truth that most people never hear biologically. In many cases, your hair is not dead at all. It is alive, but asleep, yes, asleep, hiding silently beneath your scalp, waiting for a signal strong enough to wake it up. And this is where things become almost unbelievable, because that signal may not come from expensive treatments or chemicals or complicated procedures. It may come from something so ordinary, so ignored, so underestimated. The onion sitting quietly in your kitchen right now. Sounds crazy, right? But scientists have discovered that onion contains rare biological compounds that interact directly with the follicle environment itself, not on the surface, but deep where growth actually begins. And according to William Li, author of Eat to Beat Disease, certain natural compounds have the ability to activate dormant repair systems inside the body, which means the real question is not whether hair can grow back. The real question is whether your follicles are truly dead, or simply waiting for the one signal strong enough to wake them up. Truth is far more disturbing. Hair begins weakening long before it falls, and the silent reason is the slow loss of keratin strength. Keratin is the core protein that gives your hair its structure, its firmness, its life, and without enough keratin support, your hair slowly loses its ability to survive. This is where onion reveals its hidden power. Onion contains extremely high levels of sulfur, and sulfur is not just another nutrient. It is one of the primary building blocks of keratin itself, which means when sulfur reaches your scalp, it does not just sit on the surface. It penetrates deep into the follicle environment and helps rebuild the internal keratin framework that hair depends on. It is almost like supplying bricks to a collapsing building before it completely falls apart. And this explains why many people notice their hair feels thicker, stronger, and more stable after consistent onion application, because the follicle finally receives the raw material it was silently missing, according to William Li, author of Eat to Beat Disease. Sulfur-rich natural compounds activate repair pathways inside damaged tissues, allowing the body to restore structures that were slowly weakening, which means your hair follicles may not be dead at all. They may simply be structurally weak and waiting for repair support. But sulfur rebuilding is only the beginning of this mystery, because onion also triggers something even more powerful, something that determines whether your follicles live or remain permanently asleep, and that hidden force is blood flow. Have you ever applied onion on your scalp and felt a strange warmth or a slight tingling sensation and wondered if something unusual was happening? Most people ignore this feeling, but this sensation is not random. It is a biological signal that your sleeping hair roots may be receiving life again, because one of the most dangerous and invisible causes of hair loss is not damage. It is starvation. Yes, starvation of blood supply. Hair follicles are living structures. And like every living structure in your body, they depend on oxygen and nutrients carried through tiny blood vessels. But over time, due to stress, aging, hormonal shifts, and tension, these microvessels begin to shrink and weaken. And when blood flow slows down, the follicle does not die immediately. It slowly falls asleep, weaker, thinner, quieter, until hair production stops completely. This is why hair loss often feels sudden, but in reality, it was silently progressing for months or years. And this is where onion reveals another shocking ability. Onion contains powerful natural compounds that stimulate microcirculation in the scalp when applied. These compounds gently activate the tiny blood vessels under your skin, allowing oxygen and nutrients to flow back into follicles that were deprived for so long. And that warm or tingling feeling you notice, that is not irritation, that is circulation returning, that is life returning, according to Andrew Weil, author of Healthy Aging. Proper blood circulation is one of the most critical factors in tissue regeneration, because without circulation, no repair can happen, which means many hair follicles are not permanently lost. They are simply cut off from the supply they need to function. And once circulation returns, their activity can slowly restart. But restoring blood flow is only part of the story, because scientists discovered something even more disturbing. Onion also protects your follicles from a silent biological attack happening every single day. The real cause was silent cellular damage happening deep inside your scalp, damage you cannot see, cannot feel, and cannot detect until it is too late. Inside onion exists a powerful natural compound called quercetin, and this compound acts like a biological shield for your hair follicles. because one of the most dangerous enemies of hair survival is oxidative stress. This is a slow chemical process where unstable molecules attack and weaken healthy follicle cells day after day, month after month, year after year. And as this damage accumulates, the follicle begins to shrink, its energy weakens, its production slows, until one day it stops producing hair completely. This is why many people suddenly notice their hair is not growing like before. It is not sudden, it was silently progressing for years. Onion delivers quercetin directly to the scalp surface, where it helps neutralize these destructive molecules, protecting follicle cells from further degeneration and preserving their ability to produce hair, according to Michael Greger, author of How Not to Die. Antioxidants play a critical role in protecting cells from degeneration, aging, and functional shutdown, which means protecting follicles is not just about regrowth, it is about survival. Because once a follicle is completely destroyed, regrowth becomes far more difficult. But what researchers discovered next is even more alarming, because hair loss often accelerates due to hidden inflammation building beneath the scalp, and most people never realize it is happening. One of the biggest hidden causes of hair loss is not visible on the surface. It is inflammation quietly building beneath the scalp. Inflammation acts like an invisible pressure, slowly suffocating hair follicles, weakening their ability to function and over time, forcing them into a shutdown state. This process happens so silently that you may still see hair on your head while underneath the follicle is already losing its strength and survival capacity. Onion contains powerful natural anti-inflammatory compounds that help calm this hidden biological stress. When applied to the scalp, these compounds help reduce inflammatory signals, allowing follicles to breathe again, restore their internal balance, and regain their ability to produce hair normally. This is why some people notice their hair shedding slows down after consistent onion use, because the follicle environment becomes safer and more stable, according to Andrew Weil, author of Healthy Aging. Controlling inflammation is one of the most critical steps in protecting tissues from degeneration and functional decline, and your hair follicles follow the same biological rule, because when inflammation decreases, follicles can shift from survival mode back into growth mode. But what makes onion even more surprising is this: it does not just protect follicles, it helps restart the natural hair growth cycle itself, the cycle that determines whether your hair continues growing or disappears silently over time. Hair does not disappear randomly. It stops growing because the follicle becomes trapped in a biological sleep state called the resting phase. And once trapped there, the hair simply never returns, even though the follicle itself is still alive beneath your scalp. This is why you may notice certain areas where hair stopped growing completely, not yesterday, but slowly over months or years. Onion contains natural bioactive compounds that help signal follicles to re-enter the anagen phase, which is the active growth phase where new hair is produced. This process is like pressing a reset switch inside the follicle, restoring its natural growth rhythm. When this reset happens, dormant follicles can suddenly begin producing hair again, which explains why some people notice new hair appearing unexpectedly after consistent onion application, according to William Ley, author of Eat to Beat Disease. Natural compounds in foods can reactivate repair and regeneration, pathways that the body had silently shut down, and your hair follicles respond to these same biological signals, which means hair loss is not always permanent failure. It is often a reversible interruption of the growth cycle. But the final and most shocking truth is this: when follicles receive the right signals, the visible results do not appear slowly, they often appear suddenly, making people believe something impossible just happened. This discovery so shocking is that onion does not actually create new hair follicles. It awakens the ones that are still alive, but silently inactive beneath your scalp, because in many cases, hair loss does not mean the follicle is dead. It means the follicle has shut down to protect itself, entering a dormant survival state that can last for years. This explains why you may look at your scalp and believe the hair is permanently gone, when in reality, the biological structure capable of producing hair is still present, just inactive. Onion contains sulfur compounds, circulation-boosting molecules, and antioxidant signals that help reactivate these dormant follicles, restoring their ability to produce hair again. This is why some people suddenly notice thin, soft baby hairs appearing in areas that were empty for a long time, according to Andrew Weil, author of Healthy Aging. Many tissues in the human body retain the ability to recover if the right biological environment is restored, and hair follicles are no exception, which means the loss you see in the mirror may not be permanent destruction. It may be biological silence, and the most powerful truth is this: your hair may not be gone forever. It may simply be waiting, silently, for the right signal to return. And if you found this discovery surprising, make sure to like and share this video so more people understand what is really happening beneath their scalp. If you like the video, please like it and share with others.